Alright everyone, welcome back to another Game Vault video. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault. We're going to talk about Dragon Age the Veilguard once again. Let's cue up the music and we'll get right to it. Alright, so it looks like Dragon Age the Veilguard retail pre-orders are 3 times less than Star Wars Outlaws and Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. That's a hell of a name, man. I don't get that game. Anyway, retail pre-orders for BioWare's upcoming game are reportedly 3 times less than what Spike Chunsoft's recently released Dragon Ball Sparking Zero were. Here's a screenshot from the game. It's really, I'm sorry, man. Even without the woke garbage, the whole thing that everybody's pansexual and all that other nonsense, and they made the game as gay as possible and all that crap, even without all that, these character designs are just absolutely terrible. I mean, this is a step back. It's very, like, when I first saw it, I thought Fortnite meets Dragon Age. You know, they really, really crapped the bed on that. I'm not happy with it. Zero interest in this game. It looks like crap, and I have a feeling it's going to be another abysmal failure. If it is, it's going to be interesting, you know, because we've seen Concord fail, Dustborn. Dustborn was born to fail. It's a small independent company. It's not like it was a huge game with huge backing or a big IP or anything like that, you know. We saw Justice League or Suicide Squad kill the Justice League, take a dump like that. Now, next up, we'll see Veilguard. Probably yesterday, what's his name came out, that Unknown 9 or whatever it's called, that probably failed. There's just failure after failure after failure in this industry. And, you know, some games are going to do better than others. You know, Star Wars Outlaws didn't do as good as they thought it would. They ended up postponing Assassin's Creed Mirage till February, and I'm sure it's going to be way beyond February. You can mark my words on that one, as they're going to be reworking that game a little bit. So we didn't get to see that one go. Silent Hill 2 did very well, and it's getting some great reviews and all that. Still not getting into it because, you know, I've got my reasons for it, but, you know, it's a game I always loved. It's an IP I loved, and, you know, for that sake, I'm, you know, whatever. It is what it is. I just wish they didn't make the changes that they made in it. So anyway, let's move on here. Craig Skidamas, a.k.a. Stuttering Craig, the owner and host of Side Scrollers podcast, revealed that his retail insider shared with him that Dragon Age the Veilguard had only received a total of 1,957 pre-orders between PlayStation 5 and Xbox. He wrote on X, between both the Gold and Standard editions in their 800 stores, they have just under 2,000 pre-orders between PS5 and Xbox. 1552 Xbox, or 1552 PlayStation, I'm sorry, and 405 Xbox. So 2,000 orders. Now remember, we live in an age of digital media. So this number isn't as abysmal as it would have been 20 years ago, right? Because who knows how many people have pre-ordered it on digitally. I'm a bad person. I buy my games digitally. You know I shouldn't. I know for game preservation and all that I shouldn't, but I have other reasons for doing it, and why you may disagree with them, it works for me, unfortunately, even though it's one of those things that I'm ashamed of. So anyway, but this is an increase from the 1,069 that Stuttering Craig reported had been pre-ordered back in September. So it's gone up a little bit since then. It's not a lot. 2,000 isn't a lot. But again, with pre-orders and all that, so you're working about what? A little over 2 per store with the amount of stores he has, right? 800 stores, 16, over 2 per store. Not huge. You know, you would expect more out of that, but it is what it is. Get this character creator, man. Everybody is so awful looking. Anyway, a retail insider who manages over 900 stores also shared with that Park Place that these numbers are 3 times less than Spike Chunsoft's Dragon Ball Sparking Zero did in the lead up to its release on October 10th. That one had a total of almost 6,000 pre-orders the Friday before the game released, October 4th. 5,500 for PlayStation and 414 for Xbox. Is that like the same number? 405. That's funny, man. Yeah, no, they don't. Anyway, whatever. We're not gonna go there. Anyway, furthermore, the insider shared that the pre-orders might have actually been higher for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, but they actually sold out of the Ultimate Edition for PlayStation 5. Thus, it was not available for pre-order any longer. The Namco Games recently confirmed that Dragon Ball Sparking Zero sold 3 million copies in its first 24 hours. This isn't my type of game and all that, but congratulations on it. 3 million copies in 24 hours. Yeah, that's a lot, man. That's very, very well done. I don't think Veilguard's going to do that. I don't know if they're going to meet 3 million copies total. We'll see. Companies tend to hide their failures too sometimes, so we may not see legitimate numbers from these companies based on these games when they don't do so well. As another point of comparison, the retailer Insider shared that Star Wars Outlaws total pre-orders actually topped Dragon Ball Sparking Zero with 6,469, 5,300 for PlayStation 5, and 1,300 for Xbox. Okay, it wasn't 400 that time. Ubisoft admitted that Star Wars Outlaws sales were softer than expected and slashed its net bookings by 30% for the quarter, from 500 million to 350 to 370 million. Not only did it slash its net bookings for the quarter, but it indicated that its net bookings for the entire year would only hit 1.95 billion and around break-even non-IFRS operating income and free cash flow. On a trading update call, CEO Yves Guillemot was asked by Nicolas Langet of the BNP Paribas, so, the Q2 guidance, is it only Star Wars Outlaws, or is there something else underperforming in the portfolio? And Guillemot responded, it mostly reflects the softer than expected sales for Star Wars Outlaws. We also had behind expectations for X Defiant, which will give you more detail at the end of October. So I've heard some rumors that this is not doing well and they're going to be going under after the 4th season. But then I've heard those, that's been denied by people that work for Ubisoft and work on X Defiant. So not sure what's going on with that. It will be interesting to see if they release some numbers by the end of October, though, whether or not, people talking about X Defiant not doing well, whether or not it's legit or not, or if it's just speculation and all that. People are getting really sensitive and really testy out there in gaming, and I get why. There's a lot of pressure on everybody right now. The whole industry is failing miserably. It's kind of going through a recession right now, and it's going to go through a purge as well before everything's done. There's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to be backing gaming once this is all over, because quite frankly, it needs to be that way at this point. Gaming has been taken over by a lot of people who just ideologues, they want to push their agenda instead of create great games, and they're activists instead of developers, and it's really frustrating. You see it in the journalists, you see it in the games themselves and all that, and people say, well, you're just as bad, you're just on the other side of the coin. Oh, right, but they made me who I am. I didn't care about this stuff a few years ago. I just wanted to play good games, and then more and more it came out. And the more it was forced upon me, the more frustrating and aggravating it got, and the more disgusted I got. And, when I started my channel, I had no intentions of going this route. But just watching everything burn down around me and watching the willful ignorance of so many people, I had to speak up and say, put in my 2 cents. So, gonna bitch at me. Y'all made me. Anyway, it was also rumored at the end of September the game only sold 1 million copies in total, which was far lower than at least one analyst's expectation of 5 million. That's what they expected for Star Wars, 5 million, which is probably a legitimate expectation for a game like that, had it not been mired in controversy. And it's not just the quote-unquote wokeness in the game. There's so much going on with Ubisoft right now that's working against them that it's not shocking that they're underperforming. Anyway, Grant Taylor-Hill at Insider Gaming reported, we've secured a current sales figure from sources close to the game. At the time of writing, Star Wars Outlaws just ticked over 1 million sales worldwide. That number was significantly lower than what market analysts were expecting. Barclays' Nick Dempsey suggested that Ubisoft would sell around 5 million units, and he thought that the number was conservative given Ubisoft's bullishness on the game despite multiple warning flags that the game was in trouble. Dempsey asked, when I look at guidance for Q2, and if I assume something similar for back catalog in Q2 and Q1, kind of getting 200 to 230 million, that sort of range, for the new release Star Wars Outlaws, when I look at the $70 price, and then assuming what you might get for it, I'm getting to around 5 million units, something in that sort of bracket. First of all, where could I be going wrong with the thinking? Secondly, are you just being pretty conservative in your guidance? because I guess given the interest in the game, we might have thought it would have been more than 5 million units. Hard to say. It's not doing well. Anyway, this information comes in the wake of Dragon Age the Veilguard failing to reach the top 50 on Steam's top sellers list. Now, Dragon Age is a IP that's been around for quite some time. I don't remember how many games there have been out there, but there have been some really good games there, a big built-in fan base and all that. So whenever you have a game, an IP that has a built-in fan base, you're going to sell copies of that game. You know, Star Wars Outlaws, 1 million games. That's a lot of games, right? Not a lot for a game that whatever budget that was that it had. Not a lot for a game of that size with that budget for a company like Ubisoft, but still a lot of games. But you have a built-in audience. You've got a built-in. First off, you got a built-in video game fan audience. You got a built-in audience for Star Wars that loves that stuff, and people that love Star Wars and love video games, well, they often are the same people. So, you know, you already had a preset number you were going to sell just based off that alone. Some people like something so much they're going to eat it up no matter what, right? If you open a new taco place in my town, I'm going to go eat there because I love tacos. The tacos may not be that great. They may not be different than anyone else's. They may not be unique. They may just be boring old regular tacos, but I love tacos. I'm going to eat some tacos, you know? So that's that. But anyway, yeah, it failed to hit the top 50 there. It's broken through the top 50 since then and currently sits at the 42nd position. It has also moved up to spot 27 on SteamDB's most wishlisted upcoming Steam games. Its follower count is up to 67,000. Earlier this week, the game was 28th on the wish list, 57th in the top sellers, and had only 66,000 followers. And back on September 20th, it was 38th, 80th on the top seller, and had 60,000 followers. Yeah, it's not going to be great. I'll tell you that. This game is going to suffer when it comes out, and there's going to be a lot of back and forth, and we're going to hear the usual stuff from the developers. Well, if you don't like it, don't buy it, don't play it. You're just a bigot. You're this, you're that, whatever. It is what it is. I really don't care anymore. I mean, if it's going to fail, it's going to fail, and if it's going to kill BioWare, it's going to kill BioWare. It's going to probably cost some jobs. It's not going to destroy the company and all that. And you know, here's the thing, BioWare used to have a great reputation. Ubisoft used to have a great reputation. All of these companies used to be great. Okay? What happened? Well, I think the talent has aged out and retired from a lot of these companies. And they've been filling these positions with these younger people that, you know, lack the experience that the older folks had. And that's fine. You know, you're going to always have fresh blood in any kind of business, any kind of industry and all that. And it's good sometimes to have that. But it just seems like this entire generation, at least the part that's focused on video games and that has that love of video games, is like mentally ill. You know, they're all with pronouns in their bios. They all have, you know, they're men that think they're women with this weird fetish where they like to dress up like women and all that. It's just weird stuff like that. It's just, and you know, everybody's neurodivergent and everybody's chronically depressed and they're chronically online. They don't have any like real life outside of the internet, and it's weird. It's a really weird time. So I don't know. Hopefully these people get some help. But yeah, Dragon Age, Veilguard, I don't think you're gonna make it. It's gonna be a fail. Anyway, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault. Don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell for notifications if you haven't done so already. I will see you guys next time. Until then, peace.